Hi again, everyone. All right, so this is what I'm going to be using today. My Revlon brand styling brush hair dryer with the brush attachment removed. I do use this on the cool setting. This is the 500 watt one, by the way. You can find this on Amazon again. It is currently back in stock as of the making of this video. So if you'll look in my affiliate links down below, the Amazon links, you'll see, well, you won't see it there, you'll see the link to Amazon with my name by it. Anyway, this is in my ideas lists for products, items that you all might want or need for alcohol ink painting. Pretty much everything that I use that I get from Amazon is in those lists. Plus it helps me a little bit. I get a few cents commission off of anything you all buy. Alright, this is Grafix Opaque White Craft Plastic that I will be using today. It's another synthetic paper like EPO but does not stain like EPO. This is a random tool that I picked up one day at Hobby Lobby. It has something to do with acrylic painting, but I use it mostly this end for blending and getting the ink to move into certain little spots when I'm having trouble with that. I am going to use Rosewood and Teakwood, in a wood kind of mood today, for the painting. These are both the Holtz Ranger brand inks. I've never used these two colors together before, so we'll see. This is 99% isopropyl alcohol. This is undiluted Pinata brass. I don't put any alcohol in this, in the bottle. I just use this needle nose bottle for ease of application. Same with the alcohol. The alcohol that I use is also in my Amazon ideas list. Click on the Amazon link, you'll find it. Let me show you the bottle if you want to see. But right now it's the only alcohol I have listed on there. You'll notice it says pure 100. If you click on the link, it says 99.5% isopropyl. So, and this works really great. It comes in these, big quart-sized bottles. I usually buy it by the gallon. I get 4 quart-sized bottles, and they last a long time. So if you know you're going to be doing a lot of alcohol ink painting or just need a whole lot of alcohol, that's a really good one to get. Now that's not medical grade alcohol as far as I know, so I wouldn't put it on yourself. I don't know a whole lot about the differences between medical grade and like an industrial grade, but that works really good for alcohol ink painting. All right, now I am going to do this today. I should have looked back because I can't remember the video number, because I did one like this a long time ago, and I have not tried to do a painting sort of this type of style, I guess, shape, composition, I don't know. Anyway, I haven't tried to do one like this in quite a while, so thought I would give it a try, because it is actually one of my most popular videos, and I don't really understand why. It's not one of my favorite paintings, but that's just me. So, alright, and it has been so long since I've done one like this that I'm not sure I can even remember kind of how I did it. But we'll just see what we can do here. And this is kind of, I'm, picking up some of that brass by doing it this way. What my plan is to kind of I'm going to try and go like from here to here with one color, and then from here to here with the other color. And I will be using my hair dryer, by the way, just sort of spreading this out just a little bit at the moment. So I used to do paintings like this quite a bit when I first started painting, or first started with alcohol inks, and I don't really remember now why I kind of got out of that. I didn't really leave myself enough room right there to come down with the other color. So we'll see. This is what I get for not doing it this way for so long. I can't even remember how I did it. I guess I should have gone back and watched my own video. So we'll just maybe make up a new way to do it. So I don't know what the weather is in the parts of the world that you all are in, but here it is a beautiful spring day. Absolutely gorgeous. I need to get outside and seal some paintings and things today while it's so pretty. Had to get outside and mow yesterday, which is not fun, but it was just wonderful yesterday too. I'm really hoping that the beautiful weather here lasts, because I am ready for it. Oh, excuse me. Alright. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do what I wanted, because I really got this, I don't know what I did, but I really didn't get it. I didn't get it down this way far enough to add my other color up here and have it cross over. I don't know. I did something really screwy there, but whatever. Whatever. So now I got to decide exactly how I want to try to fix this a little bit. Actually, I'm pretty sure that on that other video that it was almost the same deal, that I messed up whatever it was that I was trying to do, and ended up having to try to fix it. Actually, before I start with the rosewood, I'm going to first I'm going to go ahead and spread this out a little. I don't want to have too much of this, the dark parts, blending into the rosewood. I do want some blending, but I don't want too much, because I don't want the, you know, the teakwood color to overpower the rosewood, or vice versa. So, alright, so I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this and push it this way, if I can. That's my goal. We're going to push it more towards the center of this, and that'll actually give me a little more room as well to put down some of the rosewood. All right, I'm gonna start at the top, yeah, and push the. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna start up here. I'm sorry. I am just being weird today. Alright, so you see I'm trying to push this down in a line because I want to keep a center line on this one. And that's one of the differences between this and some of the stuff I've done lately is I've not wanted that center line on a lot of the ones that I've been doing lately, but this one I am going to want that line there. So I'm just, you know, trying to steer the ink and keep, like, you know, as much of one little finger of ink running down through the middle there that I can. Just trying to keep mostly one strip. So I want it to narrow, when I'm moving my ink and alcohol, I want it to narrow down into that one little finger that runs down through there. And I'm going to do that one again because I don't like that big dark blob there. And here's a tip. If you're having trouble getting it to move, just take something like this and rub it just a touch. I've dirtied up my nice clean pad, and that will, you know, a lot of times help pick it up. So I hope you all can see where I've got just that one little bit running down through there. So I got that run all the way down, and that gives me something, you know, a line to go by for where I want the rest of that to go. Doesn't mean that's always where it is going to go, but that's my goal, is to kind of keep it there. And right there you'll see I pushed it back up because I don't want, you know, a huge just blob buildup of ink right there. So keeping it on that same line, I kind of pushed it back up that way. And now I'm not trying to get rid of all of the teakwood on that side. Just trying to thin it down. That doesn't want to thin. And you see, I'm trying to keep it sort of following the same path that I already had down through there. You can make a really, really pretty painting just doing, you know, one strip of color and then coming back down and just doing this. You know, you're going to have a lot of negative space in one like that. But, I mean, you can make a really pretty painting. Just one strip and just start wisping down towards your center on both sides, and then you'll have, you know, your line built up. Just kind of be careful about getting too much built up in one spot. And if you want it to build up less, honestly, use less brass, because the brass does thicken your ink a little bit. It does make it build up a little heavier in there. Alright, so I'm going to move this side a little. Now you'll see on this one, I had it running down this thick edge. You know, I didn't get it over in the middle. And that's because I don't want, well, I don't want to lose all of that brass. I might by the end anyway. But this was, it's just so far over this way. If I start trying to push it all, I'm going to lose all of it. And I'm going to end up with a lot of thick ink towards the middle of the painting as all that brass gets picked up and moved down. So I'm just trying to be a little bit careful and not blew my paper in a circle, not get too much of that picked up. And once again, I'm just kind of spreading that a little to keep it from getting a blob in there. I was keeping the dryer on that a little longer than I normally would, just because I wanted to build up, you know, that little bit of a dam right in there. Push a little more of this back, because my rosewood will be on this side, and I don't want all of that sticking out there. I just feel like there's going to be too much of it blended with the rosewood. Alright, I just flipped this on hot for just a second, because otherwise you're all going to be watching me dry for the next 5 minutes right there, because it's thick right there. Alright, now let's go for some rosewood. See what we can do with it. See if I can not mess up the whole painting. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother to change my pad here, because first time I use it, it's got alcohol all over it again. So as it gets down towards the bottom, it is going to start blending with, you know, the teakwood, whatever color you're using, if you do one like this. So you want to be real careful about when you know, if you tilt it back this way, bring some color back up, because it is going to change your color just a little bit. So, you know, you might not want to do this with colors like purple and orange or something, not sure. It would be a little tricky to do like this without getting a lot of, you know, more blend than you probably want. Now I want to try and keep all that brass that I can, for the most part, up here where they meet. Now, I probably should have brought that on down there a little more, but that's something that I can fix as I go back and start wisping on it. Ooh, got that a little too close there. Sorry, I was trying to run a little of that ink down the other way some. Now, you know, as for how much alcohol I'm putting down right there, I don't really know. I'm just putting a thin line. You know, I was just squeezing very gently and making a thin line run down the length of where the alcohol is. Although I stupidly, yes, I say stupidly, I did it from the wrong side. I should have done it from that side. Wasn't paying attention good. I just have this tendency for my mind to jump ahead too much. I think I've mentioned that before. You know, my brain sometimes gets on next steps rather than the step I'm actually doing. And it can, at times, be a little bit of an issue. I'm trying to get that to, there we go. I was trying to get those to join up a little bit right there. All right, see if we can dry this down a little. I'm going to end up with a lot of ink buildup in the middle here, I think. Yep, I forgot. I'd switched it to heat for just a second, and I did it a little too long. You'll see where my paper kind of buckled. It should, I'm waiting for it to cool down, it should flatten itself back out. The Grafix is pretty good to flatten back out once it cools. But that's kind of annoying for me right now because it makes your ink move in different ways because you've got, you know, little dips and valleys and things in your painting. Leave it like this and just make it look like some kind of bow tie. Hair ribbon bow. Something like that. Alright, so now all I'm going to do is just start wisping the edges and trying to keep everything coming back into this sort of center line right here. I say all I'm gonna do. You know, obviously the putting it into practice is not near as easy as saying it sometimes. Okay. So this is where it does get a little tricky. It's trying to keep your ink, you know, going down towards that line. You don't want to use too much alcohol at one time, because the more you use, the harder time you're going to have controlling it. And also the farther it's going to spread. So if you want to keep it, you know, where it'll narrow down easier, just be real careful about how much alcohol you use at once. And so I kind of am putting my alcohol in a little bit of a line, just to help me, you know, keep it kind of steered the right direction to start with. Lost a little too much color up there. Come back. Now when I do one like this, I have gone all the way down, like only done the, you know, one color and then come back and only do the other color. But as I've progressed and done more of them, even though it's been a while, I've realized that I like better going back and forth between the two sides. I just feel like you get a little bit better look out of it. I don't know, but that's just me. Do it however you feel like. I just have gotten to where I prefer kind of going back and forth between the two sides. It just works better for me, but you know, do what works best for you. My nice new clean pad is not sticky enough with ink. It's not holding my paper down. Okay. I love these two colors together. I'm definitely going to have to do something else with these. I actually have a little project in mind that I may use these two colors for. I'm trying to keep it coming back out a little because I don't want to push all my color in. I don't want it to get so narrow that, you know, I've just got one tiny little band going down the middle. And once again, that's just going to be a matter of your taste. You know, if you want to do that, that's how you do it. Just don't add more alcohol. Don't push anything back out this way. Didn't mean to say don't add more alcohol. Don't push it back out this way. Just only blow towards where you want your center to be, and that'll do it. And if it's darker like this and you don't want that much, just put more alcohol out here and do that section again and blow it in. Nope. Almost picked out my brass. That would have been a disaster. Whoa! It broke free. Tried to escape on me. Yes, I don't know if you all could see it good or not, but right here, what happened was I was trying to dam it up right here along this line, and I still had too much liquid in there, alcohol and ink in there, and I got the dryer a little too close to it, and so it, rather than continuing to dry it dammed up like I wanted, it sort of just burst and went around the thicker part of the thing. Which that happens. That's not a big deal. I mean, being as it didn't shoot across the paper. Well, I've had them do that before too. When I was learning and still getting my control down, I have had it go all over the place. So I want this to join back up there. So that's where I accidentally busted it. So, keep my dryer back a little this time. I'm going to put a little low heat on that, help dry it a little faster. Not that the heat's any lower, but the airflow is. Yeah, that's cool. So this has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I don't know why this popped into my head. I was, yeah, the girls got these VR goggles for Christmas. Like the Quest 2 VR goggles. And so I didn't realize at first, you can actually watch YouTube videos on those things. That's kind of wild. They have videos that are made just for VR, but you can also watch other videos. So I went and watched one of mine just out of curiosity, and it's really crazy. It's like sitting in a movie theater or something, watching it on this, you know, like big, huge screen in front of you. It's like being shrunk down to this big and standing there watching the painting. It's kind of, it was a little bit weird, but it was interesting. So you can see, I mean, I've got a little bit of a buildup in here, but it's not bad. And you're going to have some. I mean, I want a little bit, but I've still managed to keep, I'm trying to tilt it where you can see it. I hope you can see the reflections, but I've still managed to keep enough of the brass out there to where I've got some really good fine veining going on out there. When you're doing one like this, make sure you watch your angles as well, because otherwise you're going to end up with this some strange look. By that, what I mean is you don't want to have like this side coming up, well, this side coming up this way and then have this side, you know, sticking straight out or something, you know, if you get my meaning. If you want it, you know, mostly symmetrical, just kind of watch your angles. For me, where it really gets, I don't have too much trouble on one end, but when I switch to this end, part of my problem is making the angles of these match the angles of these. And watch the length of your wisp, just so that, you know, you've got at least semi-symmetrical lengths from side to side as well. You see, I tried to pick up a little ink right there because this one had lost too much color. It was I didn't have a lot of ink down there anyway, and so it just got a little too pale. So when that happens, you know, just do what I did there and pick up a little ink out of the center and push it out. Real quick, I've had people ask me before why I'm tilting the hairdryer. Well, that's to change the amount of airflow that's going on something. So like, if I really want to get a lot of air blowing on it and really make sure I blow it hard one direction, I'll tilt it this way. If, you know, sometimes you'll see me use it pretty much straight up, but then other times you might actually see me tilt it away, and that's so that I can still keep a little air going on it, you know, without having as much. It's something you learn as you practice. You'll figure out. There's no way to tell you how to do that. I did have somebody ask me once, well, how do you know when to tilt it? Well, you know, practice. That's the only way I know when to tilt it, is just flat out through practice. Just something that I picked up as I was learning. So down here in the middle, you've got to be really more careful about your buildup, because you do have more ink here in the center, especially once you get done with this side. You're going to have more ink in the center. The center is usually one of the last places that I do, or else I'll go back and do the center again once I get my colors down there. And you'll see it picked up some of the rosewood, and that's fine. That's actually really good. That's what I wanted it to do. Because you want it to start blending a little bit in here. And boy, I missed my center way off. I'm gonna end up having to redo something. I don't know how to fix this. Is just gonna be off center because you've got to have your angles change, which is another reason I like to wait and do the center last, because I don't want it to come down like this all the way down the painting. I want this end to, you know, how this end's going up towards the corner. Well, I want this end to come towards this corner. And then the center, you know, will be kind of, you know, angling in. I don't know. Blending the directions. I have no idea how to put that. So I'm going to leave that alone on that end for now and start down on this end. And now one thing I usually do is I go ahead and do one that combines the two colors a little bit first, and then I start going side to side. I like blending a little in one in the middle. Yeah, I think I mostly got that on the roof. Not much teeth there. And as you're going down this, remember, if you get these little fingers down below, right now that does not matter because you'll be, you know, working that anyway. So don't try to fix those right now because you'll end up over blending. And I had the teak is so light up here that I didn't get much of a blend on that end. Hopefully it'll blend a little bit more as I come down with the next one. I'm going to struggle with this end, I can see. I feel like I laid my arm in something wet. I don't see any ink on it. I was afraid I might have hit the brass with it. I've done that before. This side's going to give me trouble. Just the lack of ink right here is going to be an issue. When you hear that change sound, that means I've hit it down on low heat for just a second. And now I'm back to cool because I don't want to get the paper too hot. Oh, excuse me. one thing about the weather warming up here. It's wonderful that it's getting warmer, but the warmer it gets, the drier it gets. We're in a very arid, deserty type region here. So I keep, you know, trying to look back and forth, trying to make sure I'm at least, you know, keeping it somewhat similar as far as the size of the wisps and the angles of them. You know, just want to keep it, you know, it's not going to be exact, obviously, but I was trying to keep it close to it anyway. And the reason I'm adding that alcohol out there on the end is so that I don't end up with that sort of harder, rounded shape out there. Now, some people like that, and that's fine, and for some things, you might want that. For this one, I don't want that. I don't want to leave much of a hard, you know, just rounded end. I want it to be very soft and wispy in there on the ends of it. That was probably too much alcohol. Oops. Yes, I said whoops. I have lots of whoops all the time. If you do alcohol ink painting abstractly like this, you're gonna have some whoops. Because, yeah, it's liquid that you're blowing with air. So it's gonna go where it wants. I'm ink all over my hand and I don't even know where it came from. I know I've got some of you all that are frustrated because you're having trouble with this, but you know, don't be. It takes a long time. I've said this a bunch before, you know, but I know some of you all, this might be the first video that I've ever done that you've seen, so did that make sense? I feel like that did not make sense, but anyway, it takes a lot of practice. It's a lot easier. It looks a lot easier when you're watching someone like me who has done this for a couple of years now. So, you know, don't forget about that. This is not my first painting. This is not even my, you know, 50th painting. And I still have trouble at times. You know, it's just the nature of the style is just that it's going to take a lot of practice You know, it's very difficult to learn control when you're blowing something. Let's turn that on hot. When you're blowing a liquid like this on a sheet of paper, you know, it's just difficult to learn control, but you can learn it. It just takes a lot of practice. When I learned to do this, believe it or not, we were living in a hotel at the time. My husband travels with his work, and you know, the girls and I travel with him. That's the reason that I homeschool the girls. One of the reasons, anyway. And we had ended up staying in a hotel for like 6 or 7 months, I think. It was much longer than, you know, we had originally thought we would be, or we would have tried to find an apartment. But, so, you know, if I can learn to do this in a hotel room with, you know, a couple of little girls running around and just trying to live on the road, then, you know, you guys can definitely learn it. Get some photo paper. Best thing. I like Office Depot. Their brand. Don't get an expensive name brand. I know I've said that before. The name brands have watermarks on the back of them, and you need to do this on the back of the photo paper. Not the front, on the back. Not the glossy side. Just buy some glossy photo paper and paint on the back of it. Store brand probably is the best. Ah, shoot. I moved my dryer. See, there's another reason you can't expect things to always go perfect. I just went to change the setting on my dryer and just barely moved it when I did. Just moved the angle of the dryer, and that got that going where I did not want it. Anyway, Office Depot had the back side of the store brand, the Office Depot brand photo paper works really good for this. Staples brand also works, and the Kirkland's brand from Costco works. Office Depot is my favorite out of those. So, you know, if you have one, I don't know why I'm doing this, y'all. I'm just out of it. I'm thinking of too many other things at one time. But I like the Office Depot brand personally. The others work good too. It's just what I like. So, alright, well, I have not gotten this as exactly symmetrical as I would have liked, but it's not too bad, so. But this, see, this is what I was trying not to do. See how I've left that edge out there? And that happens every now and then. But I don't know if I want to fix that or not. Sometimes it's not worth fixing because you will just end up messing things up. If I catch it while I'm still working that spot, it's much easier to fix it, but I didn't catch that one in time. Sometimes if you tilt your paper a little, it will help you keep from having your ink blow through if you're trying to dam it up a little. So, something to try to remember. I actually tend to forget that sometimes, and I don't know why. Probably because I don't do paintings like this enough where I'm trying to make one fairly slim line down through there. So I tend to forget I can actually bend my paper up. So you can see these colors actually blend really pretty together to me. I love the shade that blending has made right there. Kind of wish there was going to be more of it, but it's all right. You see, as you go on, it gets harder and harder to dry this in the middle, just because it's got so much ink and brass built up down here now. And this is gonna stay tacky for a day or two, probably. It takes a long time for that to dry, so you should never try and seal your paintings immediately anyway, but definitely leave some time for that. So, boy, I got my angles way off there. I hadn't even really noticed that till just now. Hadn't noticed just how bad that was. Oh my gosh. Now there's something that rarely happens, but you gotta watch out for. Because there was so much alcohol right there, when I lifted this up, there was enough on this that when the air blew it, it splattered. So now I've got little spots here and little spots there. That's the first time that has happened to me in quite a while, I think. I'm usually a little more careful about that. Anytime I'm doing anything with ink or alcohol with something else, I turn my dryer away, and I did not that time. Smooth move. Sorry, I've got just a little bit of a hard line right there I was trying to smooth out. Yeah, that doesn't look very good now. Oh well. Can't really tell much unless you're right up on it, but I can see my little strokes from the cotton swab. So I think that's going to bug me. I'm just going to try and fix that a little and hope that I don't end up ruining something and I need to redo like half the painting. I didn't intend for this. I never intend for this, but I really did not intend for this video to run so long. I thought this was going to be one that I could do more quickly. And that's what I get for, forgetting how long it had been since I had done a painting like this. if it's been a long time since I've done one like that, then it'll take me longer to paint it. But this, actually, I should have remembered too, this really is just not a quick painting. Although there are very few that are. Did you see that? I flipped it back and forth, couldn't get it to stay off. You know, you see a lot of these paintings on YouTube and Instagram videos, but, you know, the ones that are sped up, and it doesn't give you a real idea of just how long this takes to actually do one. So, you know, don't feel like it's taking you too long or you should be faster. And I just dripped alcohol. Ugh, I'm making a mess right here, y'all. It's like every single painting that I do, I have to have somewhere, just somewhere, that I get really frustrated and can't get it to do at all what I want it to do. Something that I mess up and have to fix, and you know how that goes. Oh my goodness. You see, this is what happens when you start fixing stuff. You just end up with more to fix. Okay, let's do one more and hope this one works out right, because I don't like that too big of a white spot right there. Alright, well, I am leaving this alone. Okay, so tips that I've mentioned before, but I'm going to mention again. You do sometimes get these little lines of brass that will stay out on the ends, and sometimes where there is absolutely no ink whatsoever left, you'll still see a little line of brass. If you don't like those or you don't want them there, you usually, I'm bad to use my finger, but you can also just take a dry, you all probably can't even see the line, just take a dry cotton swab and, you know, you can get that off. Now, you can't really do that so much where there's ink. See, like right here, a little of the brass stuck to the paper. So if I start rubbing that, see, I got a little of it, but the problem is you're also going to take up some of your ink if you're not careful. So, but like I said, to do this, make sure it's dry. You don't want to use alcohol if you're just trying to get, you know, little bits of brass off here and there. or at least lighten it up a little bit. All right, well, that's all I'm gonna do with that. So, you know, I used a little too much brass, and I did end up with thicker areas than I would have liked. I could mess with this and make it thinner, but I'm not going to, because this has already drug on longer than a lot of you want it to. But just for those of you who have this happen, one thing you can do is to use, for an area that big, you might not want to use this. Just get a paintbrush. Excuse me. Just get a small paintbrush, and you know, put your alcohol down, and then use your paintbrush exactly the same way that I would this, but the paintbrush won't be so scratchy, and it'll help pick that up, and then you can wisp it. And if you really have too much, you can wet it down with your alcohol a little, and just get a little piece of paper towel and dab some of it out, and then go back and wisp that part and fix it. So, but just remember, the more you do to it, the more blending you're gonna get, you know, the more brass you're gonna lose. So, anyway, all right, well, there you go. That's it. No idea what I would call that one. I don't know. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will be back soon with something else for you. I love all of you. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.